What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in the garage and we have a new addition to the channel. My friend Braden's over here. This is his 2015 Scion FRS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because they look the exact same as the BRZs. Because we have one, another BRZ on the channel with the same Rocket Bunny V3 kit as this one, but this one has way more done. Like all the canards, crazy carbon fiber. We need to do a full build overview on this car very, very soon. But we are doing a mod to this car today. What are we doing today, Braden?
Dude, so we're gonna be running up a Starlight headliner.
Ooh, Starlight headliner. That'll be freaking sick. You've probably seen them all over Instagram, all over YouTube. The classic Rolls-Royce Starlight headliner. It looks super bougie, but we'll do our kind of own rendition of the install, give you a few tips and tricks here. Or if you just want to kind of watch the video, see if you want to do it. If you also own an FRS or a BRZ, this will be helpful to you. But if you're just getting the Starlight headliner for the car that you have, we will also include the tips on how we do it. So we have the light engine basically, and this will connect to your battery and also transmit for the remote, right? This little LED remote comes with the light strands, and it's 290 individual light strands, which will be plenty for the tiny little headliner in the FRS. You can see it only goes back to there, so
Yeah, it's
half
mad
the size.
dirty in here, sorry.
No, it's good. It looks freaking great. You get to see all the carbon fiber, all the red interior. Yeah, this car is freaking sick. Got the full Rocket Bunny wing, all the canards, everything. This thing is so rad. He started off by removing the mirror here on both sides, and it's just the Phillips screws, and then prying the clips off. And then you just removed this light module right here, right? And it had some clips in there as well. Yeah, so we're just gonna get everything removed, and then we'll pull the headliner down, and we can get the light module installed. And we need to poke 290 individual holes into Braden's headliner on the FRS. And you see just my professional trim remover tool, my trusty flathead screwdriver. Just be easy on the clips. Don't jab them into the roof or anything, but we're still working on getting the headliner popped off. Braden's just working on pulling off the front A-pillars here by the windshield.
I need that screwdriver.
That weird. Just trying to work on these clips. You kind of just have to finagle them and move the panel here and there, but you just have to pull off those front two A-pillars, so we're working on those right now. Are following along on an FRS BRZ 86 platform. You have these weird, I've never seen these before in any car that I've worked on. These weird like hook, like strap clip things, and you have to so it clips in like this. So you go in like that sideways and then rotate it, and then it pulls it up and clips it in. So when you're doing these, you just need to get your fingers in there and rotate this to get the clip out. And those are just on both sides, and that was holding these front A-pillars in right there. So you don't actually need to do these, the ones behind the seats, like I said we were gonna do. All you do is get all the clips and wires. You can see right here, clip, 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 that clips in this wire right here. There's some tape that we removed that was taping this wire down. And we'll just make sure to tape it back up there when we put it on. Just be really careful. So there was a clip in the center. See this little white post? That was right up in front. And that one was weird. We were trying to get it with the screwdriver, and eventually I just yanked it and it pulled it out because it's just a pressure clip. And you need to be really careful not to pull this down too much, because it'll still be up in the back here, in the rear A-pillars, which you don't need or B-pillars, C-pillars. Those back two pillars, because these we did remove, these ones we didn't. And then we were able, once we got all this stuff unclipped up here, we were able to just pull the headliner forward, and then it dropped it out, and now we have the full headliner out here. We got the headliner pulled out, then we just rotated it and pulled it out the door. I don't know if going out the trunk is gonna be easier, but we couldn't do it because B-Pack's crazy ass. Air suspension setup, but we got the headliner all pulled out, and you can now totally see what I'm talking about. This thing is not very long at all. So the 290 fiber optics are gonna work perfect for this headliner and it'll look sick. We'll just have to work around this structures here. Now that we've gotten the headliner down in the basement, pulled out of the car, we started running the 290 individual fiber optic strands for about halfway done. So you can see there's just little holes poked everywhere on the headliner. And we are using these little ice picks, or whatever these little pick tools are, to poke the holes. Gorilla Glue, that we just put a dab of Gorilla Glue on there to hold the strand in place, and then you just push the strand through. We're trying to keep it as organized as possible, so I just put it on one of my boom arms. Whatever's gonna be easiest to keep this as organized as possible, because you know, it gets pretty hairy.
The reason for Gorilla Glue is it stays flexible and swells as it dries.
Sick. Yeah, thanks, Paul. And it really helps if you have a buddy or two to come help you. Keep the strands organized. Have one person poke the holes, one person put the lights in, and one person glue. But we've got all the holes poked. We got all the lines ran. We have all the different sized fiber optic cables ran. We have coverage over the entire headliner here. Now we are just using this foil tape to kind of just, it's kind of just taped to the edges and kind of just holding this, all this in place, and so it's not so much volume on top, because we're gonna try to, you know, have to get this into the car. Repack went ahead and trimmed all the little strands. So now he's gonna see how it looks with the little glue heads. You can kind of see that the Gorilla Glue kind of foamed through and some of the fiber optic is kind of poking through. But we can get some nail clippers and clip these all the way down to where you can't even see them on your headliner, because right now it's like off, but you can see that each individual little star. So he's gonna see if he likes that look. Along with these other stock wires, we'll run this wire along with it up in the headliner. And then we just did an add a circuit or add a fuse down into the fuse box right under here, the driver sides. We just have an add a fuse with a 10 amp fuse. Wired in for the lights, because that's all they need. They're LEDs, they require like little to no power, so that's why we're not going to run it all the way up to the battery. You can just add a fuse and tap it into your fuse box, kind of like doing like a carburetor or something that draws little power. You can just add a fuse and run it into the fuse box without having to carry it all the way to the battery. And then I have a ground. You can already see that with the battery plugged in that the light module is on right now. But if you see back here, it's the wire from the module coming up just tucked behind. So I have a butt connector with our positive cable, which unfortunately is in black, but it's fine. We know that it's the power cable for that. And then on the negative terminal, it is grounded to the chassis right there. And if you're grounding to the chassis and not all the way up to the battery, it's totally fine. You can ground it and you don't need to run another wire all the way up to the battery. You can just sand down the chassis because it's coated or painted to bare metal, and then just do a self tapper to make a nice ground. Again, doesn't need to be a huge ground because it requires little to no power. So the module is just tucked down in the, I guess this is the C pillar, the farthermost. So here's the seat belt one right here, and just back on here where it goes down into the trunk, we have the light module tucked in there, and it will fit. We've tested to make sure that that panel goes up, no issues. So then we can just tuck that up and have the fiber optic cable run down through there. They're shoved in the car here. You kind of just have to rotate it and wiggle it in to get it back into the door. Braden, back in the tiny, non-existent backseat area of the FRS, trying to get the mainline fiber optics cable plugged into the light module over there in the corner so it'll power all the lights. So that's what he's working on back there. You can see like there's barely any room, but we'll get it figured out. And then once it's plugged in, we can tuck everything behind. And
Here, will you scoot the headliner up just a little bit?
Towards you?
oh, look, it's working. Oh,
my
that's
heavens.
so sick.
That's an immense amount of light. That is so cool.
You just attach it to the light module, and there's a little screwdriver that you use to hold it in place, or a little screw, little Phillips.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. Oh, it looks so sick. All right, guys, so it's been a couple days or weeks actually since we've gotten the Starlight headliner put in BPAC's FRS. You saw the whole install. It turned out so awesome. What do you think about it?
Dude, honestly, it was money. I love it. This has easily been like one of the coolest kind of DIY interior mods that I've done, and
Most of the work was the tedious poking and gluing.
And luckily we had 3 people on the job.
Yeah,
Kinda
so
like
if you have some buddies,
you
you can knock it out really quick. So
half a day easy.
not bad at all. Super nice, and it turned out so cool. You can just see, and it's held up really well after doing the install.
And we just to kind of remind everyone, we have the lighting module put back here in this panel. So the cool part is it actually connects in through both the physical remote as well as Bluetooth.
Oh, cool. Do you have that set up?
Yeah, and so I'll show you guys right here too, but you know, you can kind of bounce around from all of the different types. They've got jumps where it can jump through, you know, kind of different colors. You can change the speeds of those jumps. They have fades where it's a little bit smoother of transitions, flashes. So yeah, it connects in.
And then you can just change the color.
You can change the color directly through here. You can set up different modes that you want, 7-color breathing, RGB fades.
So there's a lot more settings
A
in
lot,
the app.
yeah, so many more settings that you can kind of control in through here. You can change speeds, the brightness levels of how bright you want them to show. You got like sound modes where you can add custom music. Like we were thinking about it, it would be cool to like even build like a galaxy type of look or something and plan it out a little bit more.
Yeah, because we
on the
kind of
next
just
car.
poked them randomly.
Ours
But
was so random. I was like, okay, let's try to make this not look like a grid, you know? And so we just went at random, but if you wanted to on the back side, I mean, you could draw out like a full galaxy or something and get, you know, something that looked and was designed very, very well in here if, you know, you put a couple days into it.
yeah,
so it's,
for sure.
It's really cool. You can kind of mess around with this yourself and
But yeah, it just makes
Run
the interior look crazy for the shows or just driving around. I mean, it's just such a cool look to have it just right above you.
oh yeah, and
And looks so cool. And all the stuff that he has done on
We're
his
gonna-
interior, this light up thing, all the carbon, the light bounces off that. And he loves that the lights also bounce off the tank and the compressors because they're shiny. And little things like this, guys, super easy modifications. It was like 80 to 100 bucks, super easy to do, and just made it changed the interior. So definitely recommend this mod, guys. Very cool. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below. If you liked this install on BPAC's FRS, we have a build overview coming very, very soon. Make sure you stay tuned on the channel for that if you want to see more of his car. We will leave a link down in the description below to where we picked up this kit here. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you.
appreciate it, guys. Catch you later.